I'm here at the Commission on Narcotic Drugs, the 67th session, and I have the pleasure to interview Steve Rolls. What do you think this legal regulation of cannabis in Germany will do to the debate in the rest of Europe?
I think it's hugely important. There's 5 countries now in Europe that are moving towards developing or implementing cannabis regulation models of different sorts. So there's Germany, but there's also the Czech Republic, the Netherlands historically, but they're actually now trying to regulate supply rather than the sort of strange tolerance model they had. Malta has set up a non-profit social club model and home growing. And there's debates going on in a bunch of other countries. The Czech Republic is moving as well, and Switzerland. So you now have multiple member states across Europe are exploring cannabis regulation. But I think Germany is particularly significant, mainly because of its political significance within the EU and on the global stage. It's one of the biggest countries in the EU. Is it the biggest? I'm not sure. Probably is the biggest country in the EU. And it's just very central to the whole European political entity. So the fact that they are moving on it really means that I think the EU can't avoid this issue anymore, and that we will see the issues around the kind of controls on regulation that the EU legal institutions place at the moment are going to be challenged, and I think Germany will inevitably be leading that. It will be coordinating activity between the different countries, and there are already ministerial level meetings taking place, coordinated by Germany, to strategize around how they can challenge prohibition at an EU level and at a UN level, because unfortunately the current EU law says you can't regulate cannabis, certainly not in a kind of Canadian or North American style commercial model, which is initially what Germany wanted to do. So they've had to kind of retreat back to more of a Malta model where they're having social clubs and home growing. Now, that's not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, a lot of people debating cannabis regulation are concerned about over-commercialization, about corporatization, about big alcohol and big tobacco coming in and kind of replicating some of the problematic elements of alcohol and tobacco regulation in emerging cannabis markets. So the fact that Europe is moving forward in this kind of non-commercial, smaller scale, kind of cooperative decriminalization model is actually quite interesting. It's very different to what's happening in North America. It's going to give us a new perspective. It's going to give us some data about what cannabis regulation looks like in a non-commercial context. So in a way, the parameters that are put there by EU law are actually potentially helping us develop better cannabis models. Some people are frustrated, industry are frustrated, some activists and some of the sort of more libertarian-leaning people, free market libertarians, are frustrated by it, and there are some problems with it. It's not a perfect model, but it's an interesting model, and it certainly avoids some of the issues around corporate capture and commercialization. So for me, I welcome progress. I think we can celebrate progress. It's not perfect, but it's really, really important. And the fact Germany are leading it means that, it's going to have a bigger impact both in Europe and around the world.
Steve Rolls, thank you so much.
My pleasure.